President and First Lady had arrived at the Nimitz-class carrier in spectacular fashion, with Marine One touching down on the massive flight deck as sailors in dress whites lined the deck in formation. The couple was greeted by Admiral Jonathan Reinhardt, commander of Naval Air Forces Atlantic, along with the ship's commanding officer, Captain Michael Torres, who had prepared an elaborate tour of the vessel to showcase America's maritime supremacy. The USS George H.W. Bush, one of the Navy's most formidable warships, was serving as the centerpiece of the Titans of the Sea Presidential Review, an unprecedented gathering of naval vessels designed to demonstrate the full spectrum of American sea power as the service commemorates a quarter millennium of defending the nation's interest on the world's oceans. Everything proceeded according to plan as the presidential party toured the carrier's island superstructure, visited the Combat Information Center, and observed flight operations from the primary flight control tower. President Trump appeared energized by the display of military might, reportedly telling officers that nobody has a Navy like we do, nobody even comes close, while the First Lady graciously posed for photographs with junior enlisted sailors who had been selected to meet the nation's leaders. The tour was meticulously choreographed to highlight the carrier's capabilities, from its nuclear propulsion system that allows unlimited range to its complement of FA-18 Super Hornets and E-2D Hawkeyes that project American power across thousands of miles of ocean. The celebration took a terrifying turn approximately 45 minutes into the visit when an ear-splitting alarm suddenly blared across the ship's general announcing system, followed by urgent commands for all personnel to immediately proceed to emergency stations. Witnesses reported seeing Secret Service agents instantly form a protective barrier around the President and First Lady, with some drawing their weapons as confusion swept across the crowded hangar bay where Trump had been scheduled to deliver remarks to the assembled crew. Navy security forces rushed to lock down compartments throughout the massive vessel, which spans over 1,092 feet and displaces more than 100,000 tons, as frantic communications crackled over radios and sailors abandoned their ceremonial positions to respond to what several sources described as a legitimate security threat. According to multiple accounts from personnel aboard the carrier, the incident involved an unauthorized individual who had somehow managed to bypass multiple security checkpoints and gain access to restricted areas of the ship during the presidential visit. The breach reportedly occurred despite extensive advanced screening by both Naval Criminal Investigative Service agents and Secret Service personnel, who had spent days vetting every sailor, officer, and civilian contractor who would be aboard the carrier during the high-profile event. One senior enlisted sailor, speaking on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss security matters, described the scene as absolute pandemonium, with heavily armed security personnel conducting a deck-by-deck search of the enormous warship while the president remained in a secure location surrounded by his protective detail. The lockdown lasted nearly 90 minutes, during which the USS George H.W. Bush was essentially transformed into a floating fortress as military and civilian security forces worked to neutralize the threat and ensure the safety of the commander-in-chief. President Trump's scheduled address to the crew was canceled, and the remainder of the Titans of the Sea presidential review was significantly abbreviated as military officials made the decision to evacuate the president and First Lady from the carrier as quickly as possible. Marine One lifted off from the flight deck under heavy escort, with witnesses reporting that the president appeared visibly shaken as he departed the vessel that was meant to symbolize American strength and security.